Welcome to a Few TSU Sports Fans podcast, where we talk all things TSU sports and our passion meets the game. From the biggest plays to the hottest debates, we bring you everything TSU sports. Whether you're diehard or just getting in the game, we've got you covered. Let's talk TSU. Go Big Blue.
Welcome to another episode of A Few TSU Sports Fans. We have with us Demetrius.
Yo, what's up, Big Blue?
We got Mr. Wade.
What on, Big Blue?
All right, myself, TSU Madness, and Rodney is out because of he has some other things he need to tend to. So Rodney is out, so they got me hosting this joker tonight. But we got a special guest, special guest. He is a College of Engineering graduate, 2002 graduate of College of Engineering at TSU, National Society of Black Engineers, ROTC Air Force, Alpha Theta chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi, founder of Generation of Educators, right?
Educated men.
Educated Men. Thank you.
Jim.
Former vice president of TSU National Alumni Association, and 23-year veteran of the U.S. Air Force. And welcome in Robert Jobe. How you doing, yo?
Evening, Big Blue. Yo.
All righty. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about this NIL Collective we have that Mr. Wade started and has been approved, and I think it's well on its way, and is in his partnership with Guidance. At this time, I'm going to send it over to Demetrius.
Yep, thank you, Madness. But before we jump into that, Brother Robert, been knowing you for a long time, man. You got a CVS list of accomplishments, but we love to see it. One of them is big bro and mentor. You brought me in when I came into TSU. Our last episode we had another local Nashvilleian, but talk to us about, your favorite moment at TSU, whether it be sport wise or non-athletic wise. Tell us about your favorite moment at Tennessee State.
I have two. Yeah, I'll go through them real quickly. My first one was my freshman year, spring semester, and Mr. Homer Wheaton took me down to Spring Hill, Tennessee for my interviews with the Saturn Corporation, as I was a GM scholar, and it came with a scholarship to through General Motors.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the locations that wanted to interview me was the Saturn Corporation right down the highway in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Mr. Wheaton picked me up about 7 o'clock that morning, took me to Mrs. Winters on Jefferson Street. And I've known Mr. Wheaton, for a long time as a young man, and then to be in his presence as a TSU student was just kind of like an awesome, surreal moment growing up in Nashville, growing up in North Nashville, Bordeaux. And it was just funny that he stopped at Mrs. Winters on Jefferson Street like it was just a known staple for older men in Nashville. I felt like it was a rites of passage. And so for him to take me on that interview, he stayed with me throughout the whole time and then drove back. I just remember that time with him was like riding with my grandfather. I just really cherish that opportunity. And every time I see Mr. Wheaton, Brother Wheaton, he always reminds me of that. He reminds me of that trip we took down 65. And then sports moment, man, it had to be the last game in the hole when they tried to prevent us from storming the field and tearing down the goalposts. That's one of them moments, Demetri, you might remember. Titanic ain't no joke. Shout out to IPPP as we had the crack in the hole, watching people trip over the crack. But that was a memorable day. Didn't know it was gonna be so historic that we would still not be in the hole full time. And even in mentoring and talking to other students, like not even being able to help them really understand what that's like from a full circle moment. I remember full circle when I was um, in elementary school, and my mother and I lived in College Hill Apartments, right behind where Hale Hall is. And that whole grassy knoll area behind the back was an entire apartment complex.
Mm.
And I remember going riding my bike over to hear the band practice. But I also remember when we played in Vanderbilt. And at that time, my mom was in medical school, and we wouldn't go to the beginning of the game because at halftime they'll let you in for free.
Mm.
So that historic space of being riding my bike through the campus, riding it over the bridge when Jefferson Street went all the way through the campus, when they had that laundromat at the end of Jefferson Street in those apartment complexes over there. I think it was almost like a little bar down there too, if
Mhm.
I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken.
Mhm.
But to be the last game in the hole and to be there as a student, that was one of my memorable sport moments. They had a
That's
lot of
awesome.
cops out there to keep us from storming the field. That was interesting. Anything else happened on campus, no cop to be found. But they had all these cops to stop young men from enjoying their last game in the hall. Priorities, huh?
Man,
Joe, you're the second person in to mention. We just had it last week, a week and a half ago, to mention that crack in the field about people watching people trip over that crack in the field. You're the second person to mention that. That's funny.
Man, we laughed at somebody so hard about tripping over that crack that Dr. Hope came out of nowhere and scolded all of us. Never felt so bad at a sporting event in all my life. She
That's
went
good.
off on us
that's
in
great.
front of everybody. Yeah, but TSU, I mean, sporting events when I was ROTC, we would escort Miss TSU in court,
Mm.
at the home games and at the classics. That was memorable. Not, I don't know. Y'all got way Buzz. Y'all had a different era of Tennessee State football games, but wasn't nothing better than the Atlanta Classic, bro, against FAMU. And we had been going to that classic since we was in high school. You talking about a football classic that raised a boy into a man.
Mm.
Wasn't nothing like staying in the Marriott hotel in the Marquis as a young man and being allowed to walk around Atlanta, just you and your boys. You know what I'm saying? Me, Dorial Gray, Lionel Matthews, Jimmy Wallace, Jason Johnson. Shout out to the Bordeaux fam, man. Oh, Chauncey. Oh man. We used to enjoy an Atlanta classic, boy.
Yeah, those good times,
Yeah.
man. Good times.
Man, listen, you talk about turn a boy into a man. I remember I got robbed at Atlanta Classic right outside the hotel. Hotel. Hey, you talk about
Hey,
growing up
hey,
real quick. Hey,
hey, you
that was
talking
me.
about getting robbed in Atlanta? Me and Garrett Williams got robbed after his graduation in Nashville.
Man,
Dude, so yeah, getting robbed is also a part of the rites of passage. Sometimes I guess, man, you know,
Well,
man.
praise God.
before you take it down memory lane a little bit too far, so we're gonna pass it on. Mr. Wade, I'm gonna go ahead and start this. Demetrius, since we're on this, Mr. Wade, known you for a long time, also an Alpha Theta brother. So you started this initiative, this NIL initiative for Tennessee State athletics. Can you talk a little bit about that and what got you inspired to do that?
Yeah, I think to put it in some context, the landscape of college athletics has changed not only for football but athletics in general. With the settlement from the NCAA to allow schools to start doing revenue sharing and paying athletes and so forth. It's like the Wild Wild West again. Everything's above board, and they're still doing some things under the table too to attract athletes. So if you want to compete, you're gonna have to pay players. And Tennessee State has zero in that category outside of cost of attendance, Pell grants, and things like that. And we're the only school, in our conference that's not paying players currently. So when the new coach came in, Coach Barlow had a meet and greet in the spring when he arrived because we had lost 40 plus players to the portal when the previous coach left. And I'm not sure, I mean, you guys probably can understand, but that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Time of the year, most kids have already signed. Who are you going to find in the spring to play football? That's going to be like really good.
Yep.
It's going to be tough. Where are the coaches coming from? How are the kids going to get trained? How are they going to learn the system? So we're behind the eight ball when Coach Barlow got here. But one thing that he said when he met with everyone, he wanted the former players to be involved. He wanted to bridge the gap that, for the previous 4 seasons was just growing larger and larger. Never, I don't really want to talk bad about the situation, but being transparent. The football team, the alumni perspective, we kind of shut out of the program, for during the last 3 to 4 years, for whatever reason. So they didn't really feel welcome. They didn't feel welcome around the program. Word comes back to us that they don't want us talking to the players and all these types of things. So it's put a bad taste in a lot of folks' mouth. So when you get a new coach that comes in and he opens his arms up and you get to talk to him and he's real, he wants to be here. He understands and has been learning the history of Tennessee State, committed to Tennessee State. The guy will say, hey, man, we got to do whatever we can to help him succeed. And that night at that get together, a couple guys said, hey, Wade, why don't you get an NIL started? And that's basically how we started at that point. I went out and did the legal work, getting a business name and all the websites, and I put $25,000 of my own money in to seed money to get this thing started. So it's not just about doing some work. I'm putting up my money in it too. We got to get back on top. We're probably 4 to 5 years behind everyone else in our conference right now. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take some time. We'll talk about the game a little bit later, but you can understand that if you bringing in guys that are playing that, they transferred in from other schools, but they weren't playing at those schools either. So, it's a really tough situation. We are going to win a few more games, I think, and there is some improvement out there, but it's tough. It's really tough right now. So, it's time to stop all the talk, stop all the complaining, and let's get to work, because we can fix it. We're the only ones that can fix it. We can't rely on the state. We can't rely on the feds. We can't rely on somebody to come write us some. We got to go out there and put the work in. We have the resources. Let's do it. So that's it at a high level.
Yeah, you go.
That's all. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Demetrius. No, go ahead. You got it.
You go ahead. You got it.
I'd be remiss that I didn't formally introduce Mr. Wade correctly. He is still a top 5 passing quarterback at Tennessee State University. Played from 89 to 92. Watched him on the field. Had great times watching him throw, run, and great accolades at Tennessee State. So Mr. Wade is the man at Tennessee State. He's one of the men at Tennessee State. Let me ask you about this collective. Is it for all sports, or is it for just football?
Originally, when I did the original proposal to the school, it was for all sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the time the school was working on something internally to try to bridge the gap, that could be a lot bigger, than an NIL at the time. And so they said, hey, you guys just focus on football, which is fine. Because most of the guys that are on our board are, former football players. So it made sense, that, natural. But I think that portion, I think the other thing that they're working on hasn't, didn't go through. It's a lot. They don't have staff for it, don't have resources for it. But I'm gonna say this. We're doing football, but if we get a request from a coach from another team that needs some resources, I'm not gonna say no. If we have it, we're gonna give it to them. But on paper, it's football. So, but yeah. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he just went double
Am I
screen.
back on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you on, but you got double screen. There you go. There he is.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Fix. Okay.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Joe still seems paused. Is he good? Okay, he good. All right.
No, they see the they see the diamond. I'm a week and a half behind a haircut, so nah, I ain't taking this hat off.
Joe will food.
Awesome.
All right,
Brother
Demetrius, you
James,
had a
thanks
question?
again for yeah, Brother James, thanks for hopping on, man, and again appreciate you for really stepping out there and creating this collective. Can we just talk about I wanna
Mhm.
I wanted to kind of dumb this thing down a little bit. Can we just talk about how collectives work? Because I think initially when we talked about NIL, it was more so about your name, image, likeness, i.e., you getting paid for your image to be used. But now it seems like it's shifting to almost more pay for play. Can we just talk about just maybe educate us on how collectives work and how they benefit the players?
Yeah, sure. Typically, you're going to have a collective. Either it's going to be a for-profit organization or a not-for-profit organization. And NIL, again, stands for name, image, and likeness. So what's allowed is that players now can get paid for their image, meaning if they want to go and endorse a product, they can get paid for that legally. If they want to do a commercial, wear some clothes, whatever, be with John Deere on the tractor or something, those companies can pay athletes for that particular service. Though athletes can also market and brand their own things and make
Mm-hmm.
money, themselves. That was not allowed, for quite a while. And I know even when I was in school, if you were on scholarship, you could not have a job during the school year. They said that they consider that to be extra benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So do that. But now that's kind of gone away with this settlement. So what typically happens, just give an example, for an example contract, they will say, okay, Lamar, we're going to pay you $10,000 between August and May, 10 months, $1,000 a month. Each month, you're going to have to give me 10 posts in your social media of you wearing 1912 gear. Okay. I also need each month, you got to go to a different school in Nashville and speak to the kids about staying off drugs, staying in school, be a positive role model. With that, you also have to do at least 3 autograph signing sessions that 1912 sets up around Nashville. Okay. And then cut a commercial. And then if you do those things each month, you'll get a check. And that's typically how that works. And that can do from companies, come in as well. For instance, you guys know Marcel Reed, the starting quarterback at Texas A&M. He has a Sonic deal. Sonic paid him a X amount to cut a Sonic commercial. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's some of the things that we kind of working on there too. Now, there's other ways, and those typically come in from corporations. There's other ways that, and we're doing it our organization too, to raise funds is through like monthly subscriptions. You $19.12 a month, comes in access to, autograph signing sessions, special events that we're doing with the football team, and things like that. We have apparel sales that goes into the pool. We'll talk about this a little bit. We have a partnership with Guidance, and our label, a commemorative label on there, and a portion of that goes into the pool. We have some real estate deals that we're working on now. So that money goes into the pool to allow us to want to put on events, fundraisers and so forth, and also to get money to athletes for different things. And when the 1912 does that, it's called a brand ambassador. So I can go out and grab a kid from money that 1912 has raised outside of what a company has sent in for a particular player. I say, hey, you're gonna be in my brand. You're gonna go and market 1912 to the masses in your social media and so forth. So it's 2 ways with that. So you have a company aspect of it, a corporate sponsor type aspect of it, and then you have like a fundraising side of it, from subscriptions and sales and things like that you can help. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah.
If it's cool with you, I think maybe Brother James, can you talk about the partnership with Guidance and Brother Job? How did that come together? And what made you guys invest in 1912 with the partnership?
Well, I'll kick it off and let Joe. I've been with used Guidance at our restaurants, Smash and Grab, a few years ago. So we've all had a good relationship. Again, it's a TSU alumnus. To me, there's special bonds there that regardless of the time, even though we didn't go to school at the same time, I feel like we did. We got the same experiences at TSU. So, I want to push them forward as much as possible, through my sphere. And I feel the same way, it's reciprocated, with things that we do. So when this came up, I actually had seen another collective do something like this at HBCU with a different brand, and they were making quite a bit of money off of that. So I'm like, hey, TSU has probably the leading, whiskey provider, amongst HBCUs. Let's do this thing. So I called up Jason and Robert, threw it out there through some texts. You know how Robert asks all these crazy ass questions. Kind of got it going. We just asked all the details. And when you first throw an idea out, man, you just throw it out there. It's one during 36-point inspection call. But anyway. But that's that military coming out in them. But it's all good. We got it done. Right now I think we've sold over 30 bottles, and we haven't even really started the really good promotion of it yet. So but yeah, we had to do that. That's a natural flow for 1912 for TSU. And I think
Just
it's an
the
easy sell.
announcements that the idea that Wade pitched once we cut through
Robert,
and got down to some specifics of exactly this bright idea he had and how to make the idea actually happen. Wade seems to think that just because he thought of something, then you can just go and make it magically, and that it obeys all laws and rules of physics. But as an engineer, graduate of Tennessee State, I had to talk to him about how the laws of gravity works and bring him back down to earth. Now, we like Wade said, we've Guidance Whiskey founded in 2018. Founder Jason Rigel founded in Nashville. We are now distilled in Nashville, so we are a distilled Tennessee whiskey, small batch, very smooth flavor. We have partnered with Wade and Smash and Crab in the past, and through that relationship, we appreciated him reaching out to us with this idea that he had seen formulated through another company at HBCU. We happen to have a very good working relationship, professionally and personally, with having mentored that actual whiskey brand that partnered with the HBCU. So we were able to reach out to them and get a good background on what it is they were doing, how they were doing it, so that way we could get to a yes in Wade inviting us to this collective and opportunity. As a business, it's going to always be our effort to market ourselves, not only as a product, but market ourselves as a business. And we are very proud of being a TSU founded business. We're very proud of being a business headquartered in North Nashville. We have worked with Tennessee State on numerous other projects and other opportunities, not only to bring the whiskey brand, but also just to grow and support TSU. We worked with former men's basketball coach Brian Collins, another North Nashville product, with his summer fundraiser that he did every year, Inspire to Win. We were the sponsors of those jerseys the first year that he launched that program. So we're always going to be uh, tied into the bloodline of Tennessee State, whether it be direct or indirect. we're gonna make sure that we find a way, not so much about putting the brand out there, but supporting others in their entrepreneurship and ideas that are gonna, in the end goal is to always help students. We were students, so we know the importance of a giving alumni means to the development of a student's morale at school. The reach back that we're able to provide as alum to a student. We take for granted how much that really means. I definitely, when Wade came up with this idea of the collective, didn't really think I had a no. Wade being big bro, this is one of those things when they ask you to do something, they tell you to do something, and you go out and you make it happen. So we were able to do that. We have an amazing design label that celebrates guidance and our rich history, as well as the tradition of two TSU founded efforts being put together and creating a product that will go back to support athletics and student scholarship in different various forms.
Now, is this only a limited number of bottles being sold?
Yeah, we're limited to 1,912.
And can you purchase it via website?
Yeah, we have a pre-order link on the
And now that Wade has gotten all
sportsgroup.org. There's an icon right on
boxes
the
checked
first
with
page.
TSU, and they're preparing for the announcement, you'll be able to find the same pre-order on guidancewhiskey.com. Yes. Yes, guidance
And
is
is and it
retailed
can
and
be shipped
distributed
from it can be
directly in
shipped to you?
15 different states
Yep,
across
it'll
the
be dropped.
country,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
we are able to ship to 46 states around the country.
That's awesome. That's good to know because
Yeah,
I was just picking mine up as I
it's
went through
terminal
the Tennessee
Concourse C.
Tribune
Yep. So
spot
we
over
are
in the
guidance is
southwest
featured at
area of
Nashville Airport
well, not the
in
southwest area,
5
but
different locations now.
Concourse
The
C, Terminal
Tribune
C.
store.
Yeah.
Blessed shout out to that matriarch of business history
Mm-hmm.
in Nashville, and they now have two stores, two Tribune stores, and you can grab guidance also in 3 different whiskey
Hmm.
based stores that are also located in the airport as well.
Gotcha. Uh, Wait, you've been doing a promotion for homecoming, and can you tell us a little bit about that promotion?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of promotions. One of them, of course, is the guidance collaboration. We also established the Legends jersey, so we went and created some jerseys back from Eldridge Dickey's time frame, Joe Jeff Street, Joe Jeff Street Gillum's jerseys, Marcellus's jerseys, Ed Tutall Jones, Richard Dent, Claude Humphreys, and of course Joe 747 Adams with the red pajama jersey. So we got over 100 of those were ordered, and they should be arriving in Nashville on the 16th, and we're going to distribute those there. We're also going to be taking donations, subscriptions, and so forth. I will have information about how to join 1912. We'll be at the tent. We're going to be at the pop up with split with the Tiger Den group, which is the football alumni, and so we'll be at that tent. All things football. So we're just starting to get the word out, and we have tomorrow night. We have a info session on NIL. So we're getting a lot of people, hitting us back to get on that because it's all hands on deck, guys. Not only in athletics, but our school in general, as you all know. So again, we're just gonna take the lead. That's just been my vision. I'm not waiting anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not waiting anymore. I have the opportunity. I got a good people around me. You guys on this call thanks for giving us the opportunity to get the word out. But it's just time. It's time. It's time for us to do that. So I'm honored to do it, and I'm not getting much sleep, but
We'll
I don't
have
care. 105 kids on that football team that need it, so I told them to their face, I got their back. So I got
Y'all don't believe Wade. Don't believe Wade. It's past his bedtime right now. Just want to let y'all know he goes to sleep
we'll
at eight
have
o'clock every
display
night.
bottles with the
So
commemorative 1912 label
to
at
nap sleep,
homecoming
but I don't go to bed till
during the
8:15.
pop up during the
same thing.
HBCU pop up period and everything. Guidance Whiskey has an activation tent.
Yeah,
Not only featuring guidance whiskey and a signature cocktail for homecoming, but it also gives folk an extra opportunity to see the 1912 collective commemorative bottle, help support and promote pre-orders of those bottles as well.
yeah, and one thing just to add that the people that have purchased the bottle already, we'll give them a lanyard so
Yes,
they can
please
actually
do.
enter the guidance tent for for tasting.
Order mine tonight.
There we
Tonight.
go. And Brother James, you said there's an info session tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah, it's if you send an email to info at the 1912sportsgroup.org,
I received the Zoom link because I
I
am a
will email the Zoom link.
subscribing
I wanted to put
member
the
of the
Zoom link out
collective.
there for the whole world to see, but I wanted people to
I
have an
came
access
in at
for
I
that.
came in at the
We'll have
low affordable cost of a college student with
all right. There we go.
$19 and
There we go.
12 cents a month.
There we go.
But I'm in there. I'm in there.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. He's in there.
Now we're hoping that we can get this edited very quickly, but I doubt it'll be ready before and out before you guys have your info session tomorrow. We'll try to get this out as soon as possible.
Okay. No worries.
Before we move into some other questions we may have, Demetrius, do you have anything, or guys, anything else you want to say about the collective that? And I'm so proud of this, man. I really am, because Wade and I, we sit back and talk. Wade only lives 5 miles from me, so we sit back and talk about TSU sports and how it can grow, and all the things that can happen. Excuse me, but and so it's just great to see you saying that it's time. We've talked about that quite a bit. It's
I'd like
time,
to
and I'm
just
glad you
also
stepped
add
up to
that,
the plate and made this
we are in
happen.
a unique
Making this
scenario
happen.
as a
So
Yeah.
yeah.
HBCU,
I need
Tennessee
y'all support
State,
in
where
doing
we
this.
have multiple
Let's do it.
spirit brands founded by alum. And what I hope that we lead with guidance, Jason also started what is called the Tennessee Minority Owned Wine and Spirit Association, T Mauser. And so what we hope to do is take the lead in with this commemorative bottle and be able to create this with 1912 Collective, that the
Mm.
sales go so well that we're also able to uh, give some opportunities to these other spirits that are owned by TSU alum. Shout out to Stacy. Shout out to Mike Frazier, Ogechi. These are folk who have always worked with Tennessee State University, and the opportunity to get their products available at TSU sponsored functions. So I'm hoping that in them seeing this commitment and support that we have to the 1912 collective, that they will also, Tennessee State as an entity will also like look at involving as many minority owned wines and spirits in our events. I mean, we're HBCU. We are black business owners. And while we are not necessarily advertising drinking to students, but we do are as adults, we are alum that have bars and so forth at these functions. So I really want to encourage that our leadership, those who are in planning, event planning, and so forth, reach out to the distributors that feature TSU owned spirits. And if you can have a Jack Daniels and you can have an Uncle Nearest, well, you darn sure can have a Guidance whiskey. You definitely can have
Mhm.
Twisted Sisters wine. You can absolutely have Stacy's mezcal and so forth, or Mike Frazier's Reverence
Yes,
bourbon.
sir.
It's just an opportunity to be able to allow young entrepreneurs, which we have all over that campus, in fashion, in all sorts of business directions. Even, what I'm saying, these young students are going deep into their imaginations and creativities and creating business while students. So the aspects of being able to put T TSU alum founded products in front of them every opportunity we can, that I think would be an amazing effort, and just shows our reconnecting to the bloodline. Like Wade said, there was a gap starting to build between the football team and the football alum. There should never be a gap in any aspects of where you have an active, thriving alum coming from that which we still have students actively participating in. So whether it's Air Force ROTC, whether it's whatever our majors were in those technical societies and memberships they had, whether it was aristocrat of bands, TSU football team, we should always allow and invite that connection to remain, to be able to help students achieve beyond the challenges and the hurdles that we had to overcome, as well as give them a vision of what they can accomplish and what they can do, even right now in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
good stuff.
Man,
All
that's a
right.
word. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I appreciate that. Good way to end it, Joe. I'm going to ask y'all a question before we move to the football game that was Saturday against Eastern Illinois. I'm going to ask you one thing, right? That's we've asked, we've talked about in the last two shows, and I'm going to ask you guys about the possible return to football on campus for temporary in the track in Ed Temple's track. Maybe building up that area to accommodate 8,000 fans. Now, only reason why we're talking about it is because it was brought up. It's not a thing that they're doing. It's just something that they're considering, or at least it was a thought, and that thought, they put it out there, right? And so, of course, it's what we do.
President Tucker said it.
Yeah, okay. President Tucker said it. Absolutely. So we took it, and we've been talking about it because we're like, hey, hey, we get opportunity to come back on campus. What do you think? I'll send it to you, Mr. Wade. What do you think?
I think the opportunity to be on campus is tremendous. I've been a part of this conversation for 30 years. It's probably even longer than that. They were talking about, at least renovating hell when I was 8 or 9 years old.
You how old?
Uh,
Damn.
55 now. So, it's been a long journey. I'm 55. All right. I can.
Cut it out, Joe. Cut it out.
I'm gonna bust him.
Deference.
But yeah, but I think it's a great thing. I do, I think that the on-campus experience is the best. Is the best atmosphere you can have in college. Hearing the president say that made me I felt really good, and just by talking with him, I believe he's a man of his word, and he's gonna try to get that done. And I hope we can get it done, temporarily in that space, but that's not the end goal. I think as long as our end goal is to knock that thing down on in hell and rebuild, state of the art facility, I'm all for it. But I don't want us to fall into, we did this temporarily and we look up 30 years and we're still down on Ed Temple's track. So yeah, that's good that we're making that progress. But I'm greedy. I want just like the other schools. I want a full facility on my campus, and I deserve that, and the students deserve
I'm a little
that. Our
indifferent.
community deserves that.
I'm
The only school that
here's why.
is like that. Come on.
I got sold during the Hefner years into the idea of seeing our school in a professional NFL stadium. I really did. What I am most disappointed about in that is not so much of us not staying on campus. I'm more disappointed in that we only get 20% of the deal of being in an NFL stadium. What I mean by that is that the way we're treated, the way I've seen us always treated, when we were told that this would be our home field, we always still felt like visitors. I do not feel like, and this was way before Nissan Stadium when it was LP Field and it was hosting other colleges and games and so forth. We never got rolled out a red carpet treatment
Mm-hmm.
for who we were. Our signage and marketing was small. We got into this deal the way we did. And I really had just hoped that at some point it had matured into the marketing that Wade has created, which is with 615 Nashville's team. I just thought it was a unique opportunity for us to really be able to benefit and be in partnership with the city. And it just never flourished or
Mm-hmm.
became the potential of what it could be. I thought, and I'm not an athlete in playing in on a field,
Yeah.
but I did feel like, something of an experience for our athletes to play on a actual next level stage, you know, arena and field. And I just really felt like we got pulled into something and then, what I'm saying, given 3 acres and a dog. We went 40 acres and a mule. We got 3 acres and a mutt, And so from that scenario, then I started looking into like, okay, the grandeur idea of being back in the hole. Here's what I can say specifically, and Demetrius may know this in the background or what have you. There have been multiple designs and plans. I know of 4 capstone projects out of our own architectural engineering department that laid out a building plan for the whole. And then this is where I throw it back on the school. Don't tell me we finna graduate scholars who can go work for multi-million-dollar companies and yet their ideas cannot be refreshed, refined, and invested in to start some type of renovation project on the whole. It's a slap in the face. To give me a degree based on a senior project that I did to redesign a stadium, and then I go get a job with a company that redesigns stadiums. But for all of that sake, I mean, I heard President Tucker say there was an idea out there that Nissan would have given us money back if we had like canceled some of those games at the stadium and we could have used that money towards some type of renovation aspect. Not throwing them under the bus. I just don't know what happened to that, but that sounded like a great idea. Secondly, we turned Howard's. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, bro. Okay.
Can
So
I?
I mean, the option out there, as
Yeah,
early as it was thrown out
that
there,
option is
was
still
before the
available.
first
We just
snap
don't have anywhere to
of the
play.
John Merritt Classic. I'm not. I
So
mean, I'm not
if we,
really sure how much it takes to pivot the logistics to be able to go
yeah,
on the field or what have you
yeah,
like that to be able to play whatever
yeah,
games remaining in the hall. I just know he said it, and we just didn't do it. So if they're talking about giving us $20,000, $25,000 a game back.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure
yeah,
there's
yeah.
some aspect contract wise, or it's more than that.
I,
I think it's a lot more.
I think it's
We just
10x. I think it's 10x. But
Because
to
yeah, it's
James's point, where you gonna play, and I think Robert, where you're getting at
Mhm.
it, we always I feel like we always caught with our hand. It's always between a rock and a hard place, right? We got a deal in place to where the Titans are going to compensate us for not utilizing those home games, but then we don't have nowhere to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to do this temporary location at
Yeah,
Temple Track, but what's it going to take to be able to
yeah.
do that? So
You know,
it always feel like it's an if to me
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to
yeah,
the grand
yeah,
idea of
yeah.
coming back home.
But DW, to your point, though, it's years of no vision, no planning. There is no
I don't like the
excuse.
idea that we
There's
just went
no
to
excuse.
Howard. We did homecoming for them on
No,
their
there's no
campus, and
excuse
we
we should
saw
not be on
show what
campus.
we can do
Yeah,
on the
agreed.
campus, right? Then, like next year, we finna be down in Huntsville. I don't know if you've been to an A&M home game, but bruh, I mean, they about to show they about to show out in Normal, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Even down to Montgomery,
Yeah.
Alabama State's. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Campus and the
It's messed
renovation they
up.
did with that. They can only sit on one side of a stadium, but yet it's still a home feel in doing that. I thought, am I wrong? We don't have any games in the hole this year.
Mhm.
They've condemned the whole state.
There
Okay,
you
so
go.
I mean that the aspects of it is again, heard,
It's not
None.
condemned. They
we've
can't
seen the
say it.
debates on all the Facebook pages and everything of that nature where folk always take any issue with TSU and they bring it back like playing in the hole is gonna solve all our problems. And I'm like, y'all don't even pay to see us play where we already at. But I mean, you think we're gonna miraculously start coming? Because like, here's the other catch. What if we get to the hole, right? And we get it renovated, but for cost aspect, it's gonna cost $50 a ticket. Then there's gonna be a whole argument about why it costs so much to go to a game. I mean, certain types of people you can't make happy, and it's just unfortunate that I. That's why I say I'm just indifferent about it because if it's one thing, it's the other. It's going to be hard to satisfy the entire collective masses in regards of what a perfect Saturday home game at TSU looks like in that aspect. And then you got to be willing to sacrifice. Like if you're not willing to sacrifice and donate, why would we sacrifice
Mhm.
to invest
Yeah.
in a stadium just so you can feel comfortable playing a game at home?
Yeah.
Right.
It's yeah. Yeah. I think you're hitting it right on the head, man. It's not the state. It's just the people that want to complain, they're just gonna complain regardless. A lot of football players we talk about, people that say, "Hey, man, when we playing the hole again, the hole." I said, "Man, I know at least 7 games who was out there, man. I could count these. I could count." They would take the band and split the band up and put them on one side and the other side just so there'd be some more people over there.
Mm.
So to tell me that it was just packed and we just kicking it's a lie. And it's a lot like that when I was
Yeah.
7, 8, 9 years old. It was a lot. I don't subscribe to. Yeah, and we had some games that's just sold out down there. Yeah, Grambling
I remember
Grambling
that.
came to the hole
Yep.
in 1991, and we didn't sell. It wasn't a sellout.
Yeah.
Grambling was on campus with Eddie Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm not listening to that, but I think the bigger thing is to get the student enrollment up
Yeah, I think
and
right now,
rebuild the community
as
trust
our
that Tennessee
subject is
State
about,
is our community
football,
college,
and
and then
sports and
all that
everything, we
other
got
stuff.
to remember we're a
I think it'll take
university.
care of itself.
There
Right.
are a
Yeah.
lot of priorities that we have towards students enrollment and student graduation. And in between that
Exactly.
is a
Yeah.
thing called student retention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And no football field
Mm-hmm.
is about to change either of the case.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that. I mean, it is a great
Mm-hmm.
investment and great opportunity. Uh, do the athletes deserve it?
Right.
Absolutely. Band
Yeah.
deserves it. Cheerleading deserves it. The coaches deserve it. Fans deserve it. But you know, priorities being in place. I'm just like, no, Nissan Stadium ain't the best, and I don't like how they treat us when we come to the door. But it
Yeah.
is what it is, and there's just other things that we need to be focused on. And I hope that doesn't offend anybody as a non-athlete, me saying that. But it's just true, true, true,
No. Yeah. I don't.
true.
Yeah. I don't think it does. But I do think we can do more than one thing at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We can work
Yeah.
things
Yes.
in parallel. You just can't say, "Hey, let's get all this up, then we're gonna be able to stay." Because that's
Mm.
kind of how this thing is. That's how we're here now. Because there hadn't been any parallel, projects, things that are going on. So, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
just a new thing, way of
I
thinking and
feel you.
vision and executing and staffing and all that. So once we get there, maybe we can do that, Joe. But you hit it right on the head, bro.
All right. I want to get us out of here in about 15 minutes. Let's turn out. I appreciate that conversation, and but I wanted to put us to the game on hand of the game from last Saturday. where we lost to Eastern Illinois 31-7. It was their passing, their quarterback. They had two quarterbacks in the game. They passed for only 168 yards. The way they were moving the ball, I think it was more than that, but only 168 yards. Our quarterbacks, McNair and Palmer. Palmer had an incompletion, so he didn't have any yards. But so McNair had all the yards at 205. Our rushing attack was only 30 yards total for the game. Eastern Illinois had 176. And the receivers, of course, we had 205, and they had 168 with Snap Reed catching four receptions for 52 yards. We did have we lost 2 fumbles, and they had none. They had no. Yeah, they didn't have any turnovers, and so yeah, I think that's it. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's do a round table. If you saw the game, no, Wade, you were there, I think, in Illinois. Tell us about what you saw.
Yeah, it was. I'm honestly, I was disappointed. More so in the discipline of the players. There were a lot of unsportsmanlike penalties on third downs that extended the drives. For Eastern Illinois, that's why they had more, a lot of points and not a lot of yards. So it was a short field. We was turning the ball over, but giving them extra yards on penalties and things when we should have been off the field. That part probably, to me, was the most disappointing side. We just were not disciplined enough, and we need to be as young as we are, because we don't have all the pieces in play to make a lot of mistakes, and we can overcome them. We do have good skill positions, wide outs, running backs, and then you're starting. Quarterbacks have not played a lot, and these guys have not really practiced either. Not really practiced and learned the system. They haven't had a full spring and a summer. They just came in basically in the fall and started, going at it. That's tough to do. That's very tough to do unless you're ultra talented. Line play didn't help them out at all. We do have to find us a center that can snap the ball in the shotgun, because McNair's not a short. Oh, he's a shorter guy. If he's bending down to catch the ball, come on. So when you're doing that and running RPO, you get your eyes come off your spots, timing is off, and then at the very beginning the play is off. The defense, I thought, really played well enough to win. Outside of some bonehead mistakes they were doing on the penalties, they was out there forever. So they was dog tired, but there was nothing really happening out there that you was like, man, they just killing us on stuff.
We were actually up. I mean, they had 17 points in the first half, and it really should have just been 10, right? I mean, it was 10 points up until the last minute or so when Eastern Illinois, scored that third or second touchdown to make it 17-10. I mean, 17-0.
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback, we didn't really start throwing the ball to the second half. I'm not really sure why. On what the scouting report was. But they have to be a lot more accurate than they have been. There were plays to be made. Number two, there's no one in any of the games we've played, even though Snap has only played the last 2, that can cover him. I would throw the ball to him until he says, "No, I'm tired. I need to come out of the game." With him, you got 18, and you got number 1 and number 30 in the backfield. We have enough weapons to make some stuff happen, out there. So. They just haven't had enough time together, and it shows. And they haven't played a lot of football, so it definitely shows. But one thing I do like about, they don't quit. They continue to play, and I'm watching on the sideline. They're accepting coaching. Those are the little things. That's right there. But right now, we're not in a position to go out there and we can make mistakes and win games and overcome our mistakes right now. We got to play damn near error-free ball. Mm-hmm. But I think our defense is playing well enough, and we can't get beat. Let people get behind us when we're playing zone. That happens. A lot. But I just think it's a nature of being a young team is what we're kind of seeing right now. But I do believe what I'm seeing from a coaching perspective, we are we got the staff is doing, everything and they can to, to get this out of these guys. Those guys they playing hard, man. They are playing hard. I got to give them that. You take, we could have easily won the Alabama game.
Mm-hmm.
2-2, 2-3 or something like that. And we really wasn't out of Tennessee Tech. We turned the ball over. They've been averaging 60. Yeah, they could score 35 on us, but we gave them 21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's 14-0 game. I mean, it's close. It's little stuff. It's little stuff, but I just think we got to grow up. We just got to grow up. And what we're seeing is a young team. Young team's gonna be all over the place.
51 freshmen, right? I think it's 51 freshmen.
I mean, they lost 40 players.
Yeah.
Demetrius, anything you want to add?
No, I think Brother James said it. You lose 40 players at what I call the ninth inning. You lose 40 players. Your coaching staff doesn't come until June, right? You're scrambling to get guys up until second week after school started, right? And in your first 4 games, two of them are in the top 15 in the country. You have no room for error. And when you compound that with youth and inexperience, this is what you get. And I think James said it best. We gotta grow up quick, because we got explosiveness at even though they're young, they're very talented in a lot of key positions. So that's optimism that a lot of guys are going to come back. But that's why we got the 1912. We got to keep them now. We got to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
And we gotta continue to get better in the trenches. But we got to grow up, because we got 7 games left. I believe it's 7 games left, and there's still a lot of winnable games out there. And I'll say this: these last 4 or 5 years, we've been playing meaningful football well into November. And the way the conference is this year, you never know. The ball can bounce a couple times, and you never know what you got. So a lot of season left, a lot of ball left, but we got to grow up.
Yeah. I mean, I think the coach. This is like a spring practice for them too. I mean, they're just learning, these guys. They're just learning, and it's going to take a little bit of time, especially on offense, for timing and so forth. I think I read an article today that they may be changing the offense, definitely for next year. Like Oregon said, they be more run oriented, type offense, and kind of get away from the RPO. So that'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one thing I haven't talked with Shannon. I mean Shannon pretty cool, but just maybe if they even had some packages where they can put them up under center and change the look a little bit, and change some of the angles, keep these guys from busting in there a little bit, and maybe, I don't know. I would like to see it. I don't know if the guys can do it or not. I've seen the RPO enough to know where the strengths and weaknesses are for those guys. But they it was a story I was just thinking about when we used to, on the top field at TSU, end this down by Straighter Lane, they used to hang these tires up on the goalpost. And we would have to throw, and it had a little net behind it. A small net, wasn't really big, so you had to throw it right through the tire to hit that net, or your ball, if you miss, it's down the hill. It's almost a straight lane. And you had to go get it. And so we would run these these drills down there with Cat Coleman. We rolling out, dropping, we're doing all kinds of stuff. You got to throw that ball. Man, I think my first couple of days, I must have ran up and down that hill 50 times. And I was so freaking tired. And but by that end of the week, I didn't miss a tire all the way till I graduated, because I was not running down the hill again. So that's one of the things. But what it taught us was accuracy. And I think because there's been plays to be out there. These guys are missing guys. There are plays out there.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, you missed them. But that's the youth part of it, and the accuracy is not there. I mean, we're not like way far off. I know it looks bad when we look at the end of the score, but if you just kind of watching, what's kind of happening there, man.
Yeah,
We're
I
close, and
think
those guys just got to
as
win
a
the finals,
fan,
man.
I've
Yeah,
matured
they're
in
gonna
my
make the right
patience
changes. They get a whole
from
spring
the
and a whole
previous
summer, and
coach
you're gonna look at it.
to where we are now. I had my opinions and so forth. And then, over time, that coach, got us to, a level of eliteness in regards of how we finished in the conference and everything of that nature. This go round, having the relationship that I have with Shannon, having what the knowledge I have from Coach Barlow, because I was in DC when both of them were with the Defenders and everything. And so uh I have a better understanding of their philosophy than I did with the previous coaching administration.
Mm,
And as all y'all said, I just realized like these dudes are young, you know, they are young, and it literally feels like this season is like spring, but except it counts, which is just kind of unfair. And the only thing I hope for is watching the relationship between the
mm-hmm.
coaching staff and the players build
It
as
can.
they're young,
Yeah.
Yep.
so that we don't end up losing a lot of
Right.
players. They don't lose a lot of investment of what they're developing and what they're seeing the potential in. And it just gives us that much of a head start. I pray that everybody stays healthy in this season. We don't have any serious injuries and so forth. And I
Hmm.
think I'm just like patient in just seeing them put forth a strong effort, because defense puts in an effort. I see that. They're just on the field way too long. And that's just that's the nature of the beast, right? Like I can only expect young men at their age, stamina and all, to be out there for only so long. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you get worn down, like you
Yeah.
said, we saw the Russian differential. You know what I'm saying? You're on that field long enough, they just start grinding on us. And that might be what our scouting report is starting to show them, is that their offense can't stay on the field long enough, and their defense is going to get worn out. Good defense,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, a defense that can be worn down. So that, and then ball security. That is just a discipline thing. And I'm not sure
Mhm.
how they're handling that and responding to that in practice, but we got to do better with keeping securing the ball and fumbles and so forth like that. That is just some fundamental issues or what have you, that I don't know if that's about youth and the bright lights or inexperience or what have you, but it's something that we got to knuckle down on in that aspect. And I just hope that that chemistry in the development of what we see, because like Wade said, like, man, I mean, we're seeing passes that just be off, like, Wade could have got there, and that would have made the difference in regards of staying on the field and, saying turning in the first down and then shortening the field and so forth like that. So I think teams or our opponents right now just they're just benefiting off
Mhm.
of our lack of experience and our mistakes. They are not necessarily playing that far above us. They're literally kind of falling back and watching us shoot ourselves in the foot, and then they're capitalizing on that. And when you got a short field of 30 yards or less, then it's just a matter of like, saying finding that right hole and that lapse
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
defense just went off and now they come right back in on a short field, and then you done ran the ball up on us or whatever like that. So uh I hope they stay around and they build that cohesion so we see something amazing in the blue and white game in the spring. That's
Mhm.
really what I'm like hoping for at this point. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on the remainder of the season. We got to beat Howard. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not flying back to DC if I make it to homecoming because of this darn shutdown. But I don't want to come back to DC, and I don't want nobody
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
back to
Yeah. Yeah.
DC talking trash to me, because I have spoken a lot, a lot. Man, man, wait, man. Oh my gosh. After
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah. Yeah.
the cowboy ish that I have spoken to these
Since
folks,
last
that
year,
if
huh?
Right.
hey man, if they come back with a win in Nashville, yo, bruh, I am hot at everybody. Oh, I'll text him a storm, but I've told him a couple of times, hey man, look here, man, just be Howard, bruh. I ain't trying to,
Yeah.
I ain't trying to put doom and gloom on the rest of the season, but look, bruh, I took enough from the Huntsville folk. I can't do it from the DC folk too. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man with pride. You don't do ish like that, So yeah, you got it. We got to get back on it. But like Wade said, or like y'all pointed out, I think we got a strong team.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really ecstatic about our coaching staff
Mm,
and the pedigree that they come from. It's just it's some young dudes out there,
mm,
and that's tough in a conference with the experience that our opponents have in that conference. That's just real tough.
mm,
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah. That's one of the. I mean, I say common factors. I know they're being coached. That's not the question. About the coaching. So I feel good about that. They're getting coached right, and maybe they're just not there yet. And just they keep going. They fight, man. I gotta give
Hmm.
it. I gotta give it. They fight. I mean, that game last week when we
I met
blocked the
a,
punt late.
I met a parent of a student
They could
on
have gave it.
a player on defense yesterday
Still out
at
here balling. So
Longhorn,
I do like that
and
though. So coach
he
got it.
wasn't he wasn't in no like sour mood. You know what I'm saying, about what he's seeing.
Uh-huh.
He said his son play on defense, said he likes it and everything of that nature. So that was positive to hear, in spite of
Yeah,
the record and everything, that his son was still, strongly motivated and everything. And they were super proud of being family and parents of a TSU student and TSU student athlete. So I was thankful for that.
yeah, yeah. It's one thing that they're going to allow us to do. When the recruits that come in for homecoming,
That's dope.
1912 is going to
That's
present to
dope.
the recruits. So that's going to be pretty neat during the exit interviews.
that's good.
It's going to be like a package.
Yeah.
So after they
And
probably
speaking of homecoming, I got some information on Miguel from my TSU relations, alumni relations. All communications and logistics for all things homecoming dropping this week. Everything in regards to parking, pep rally, game, and tailgating. It's going to be dropping this week, so please be on the lookout for that for homecoming. And I'm only going to speak on one other thing, but before I do, just to make sure that anyone else have anything you would like to say, Robert, again, I appreciate you coming on and spending your time with us. I don't know why you're Rob. Look, Robert's up there on the screen, but I just call you Job, so I don't know
Hey
why I
man, I
called you
just want
Robert.
to thank
It
you
didn't
all
feel right.
for this
So, Job,
platform and the opportunity for able
anything you
to
want
speak
to share
on
with us before you leave
the
out?
relationship that Guidance Whiskey has formed with the 1912 Collective. We are very excited um, to unite two passions that we all have. Wade is a passionate example of an alum who gives back, not only in the aspects of sports, but across the school in totality. And so setting that example only opened up the opportunity for us to jump and be a part of this, not only Jason Rigel and myself being TSU alums, but also being able to bring guidance to the table. So I will say that during the HBCU experience that is being sponsored on campus, once again, Guidance will have a tent out there. We will be displaying the 1912 collective signature bottle and label. You can go to the websites of both entities to be able to pre-order. And so I strongly encourage everyone to do that. Not one bottle, multiple bottles. Because one bottle you're going to want to open because it's guidance in it and you're going to love the taste and the flavor. The second bottle just to be able to display and have this piece of history in it. I think we also have an opportunity during that time when bottles are going to be start getting delivered. There will be a signing session with Jason Rigel, founder of Guidance, and Wade and his leadership level with I don't know if you're CEO or executive director. I don't know which label you're able to have with this business entity. But either way, I think I love the idea of two TSU alum being able to sign this commemorative bottle, make it even more memorable and historic of what we're about to do and everything. So looking forward to seeing everybody. I'll be on campus if I make it. Praise God. I hope we just shut down in soon. But I'm gonna be on campus from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And the whole time I'm gonna have a cup in my hand. So, and this time it's legal. This time it's legal.
we know you will. QB12, anything you want to share?
Yeah, and just first, thank you all for inviting me on. I do don't take these things lightly. To get on and talk about anything and all things TSU. Very important initiative, 1912, getting that thing out. We're only 8 months old, so we're going to continue to grow. So you guys are right here at the beginning of, I think this something's going to be very huge for TSU. And talking football, I can talk football anytime. So you guys can call any game. I don't care. Flag football, look, guys, I can back out, whatever. Football is my blood, and I love that. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for allowing me on here, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. And remember, Demetrius, any parting words?
First, just James and Joe, thanks for joining us and coming on. I'm going to keep it simple. These folks better get us now.
That's real. That's real.
Because if they don't get us now, they ain't going to get us. And I'm going to just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. Well, before we sign off, I just want to say something because I do have some family members, or Darden family members at Tennessee State. We weren't able to meet last week, and I had a death in the family, so we didn't meet. I appreciate the guys. They kind of they told them I wanted them to go ahead and go and have the show without me, but they said no, we're gonna wait till you get you ready. So, but I appreciate you guys for that. So keep your head up. Continue to rock and roll TSU. And on that note, go Big Blue.